Hello and welcome to our podcast episode titled Philosophy, Curriculum, and the Future of Malaysia Education. My name is Emily and I'm your moderator for today, and I am joined by my fellow group members ADIBAH and FRENCINE. In this episode, we will explore how Malaysia's educational philosophy and curriculum development are shaped by key developmental theories and national policies. We will also reflect on how these ideas connect to our roles as future educators. Let us begin by understanding the foundation. What is exactly the philosophy of education in Malaysia? The philosophy of education in Malaysia, also known as Falsafah Pendidikan Kebangsaan or FPK, was introduced in 1988 and revised in 1996. It emphasizes the holistic development of the individual in four important aspects, which are intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical growth. This development is grounded in belief in God and aims to create balanced and harmonious individuals who can contribute to society and nation. Now, I want to hear Adibah's thought on this.
The Falsafah Pendidikan Kebangsaan or National Philosophy of Education form the foundation of the entire education system in Malaysia. Its goal is to develop a balanced and harmonious individual who is intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically grounded in faith in God. In essence, the FPK envision Malaysians who are knowledgeable, responsible, and capable of contributing to the family, society, and the country. This reminds me of Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory, particularly the stage called industry versus inferiority. In this stage, children develop a sense of competence and responsibility through social interaction and meaningful activity. At the same time, John Piaget's cognitive development theory supports this philosophy. Piaget believed that children construct knowledge actively through interaction with the environment. The FEK reflects this idea by promoting inquiry-based and student-centered learning, approach in which learners explore, experiment, and think critically instead of passively memorizing facts. Therefore, the FPK is not merely a written statement, it is a vision that is rooted in developmental understanding of how children grow cognitively, emotionally, and socially.
I completely agree with that explanation. The FPK represents Malaysia's philosophy of education, which is a continuous effort to develop individuals in holistic and integrated manner. It aims to ensure that intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical growth occur in harmony based on a firm belief in and devotion to God. This shows that education in Malaysia is not only about gaining academic knowledge, but also about shaping the whole person who can contribute meaningfully to society and the nation. Understanding this philosophy is crucial because it sets the overall direction for curriculum design, teaching methods, and educational policy. It is the foundation upon which all curriculum reforms and teaching practices are developed. From a developmental perspective, the holistic focus of the FPK minus Piaget emphasis on active cognitive construction. Erikson focused on social emotional identity formation, and Giselle theory of nature and stage-based maturation. Together, these theories demonstrate how the FPK integrates different aspects of human development to guide national education.
Yes, that is absolutely true. In 2024, the Minister of Education stated we can no longer measure students solely through academic grades, highlighting the shift toward karamah insania, which means human dignity, as a core educational goal. These statements align perfectly with the FPK visions of nurturing ethical, resilient, and empathetic citizens who can thrive in a globalized world. This philosophy is not just theoretical, it serves as the guiding principle for all curriculum decisions, teaching practices, and national education goals. It represents a blend of Eastern values such as collectivism and spirituality, as well as Western ideas like critical thinking and autonomy. To understand how this philosophy is translated into classroom practice, we need to examine the development of the Malaysia curriculum. The Malaysia's curriculum has gone through several key milestones over the decades. The Razak Report of 1956 and the Rahman Talib Report of 1960 focused on promoting national unity and standardization of the education system. Later, the Education Act of 1996 formalized the FPK and introduced a more structured and comprehensive model of curriculum development. More recently, the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025 has emphasized 21st century skills, student-centered learning, and a global citizenship as a part of the country's educational priorities. Now, Anba, I would like a piece of your mind in this.
Okay, so in my opinion, our curriculum has indeed evolved alongside the growth of our nation and the changes in educational philosophy. During the colonial era, education was heavily exam-oriented and primarily focused on producing administrative workers. However, after Malaysia achieved independence in 1957, reforms began to unite the country through education. The Razak Report and the Rahman Talib Report introduced a common curriculum and use of Bahasa Melayu as the national language to strengthen national identity. In years later, the integrated curriculum for primary and secondary school, known as KBSR and KBSM, emphasized balanced development of intellectual, emotional, and physical growth. This was followed by the Curriculum Standard Sekolah Rendah (KSSR) and Curriculum Standard Sekolah Menengah (KSSM), which were designed to meet the learning needs of the 21st century by embedding creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. This evolution reflects Lev Vygotsky's social-cultural theory, which highlights the importance of social interaction and collaboration in learning. In line with Vygotsky's concept of zone of proximal development, nation teachers now act as facilitators who guide students to learn just beyond their current abilities through group projects, peer collaboration, and problem-solving activities.
And to building that, the Malaysian curriculum has clearly shifted from a traditional subject-based model toward a more competency-based and holistic framework as described in the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025. The blueprint emphasizes that the education system must prepare students holistically for the 21st century by developing not only academic knowledge but also leadership, critical thinking, communication skills, ethics, and spirituality. This change shows how the philosophy of education, while curriculum development provides the method and mechanism to achieve that vision. In other words, the FPK answers the question of why we educate, while the curriculum explains how we implement that vision. The evolution also demonstrates a shift from the Tyler's objective model, which focuses on measurable learning outcomes, to Stenhouse's process model, which values teacher autonomy, leader agency, and reflective practice. This model aligns closely with the developmental ideas of Piaget and Vygotsky, emphasizing learning as a continuous and active process. Between 2020 and 2025, educational reforms have focused on digital integration, flexibility, and character education, particularly in response to the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Hamid and Nordin in 2023, the pandemic revealed the need for more agile pedagogy and flexible curriculum structures. Ultimately, the FPK and the Malaysia Education Blueprint are interconnected. The FPK acts as the moral compass that defines the vision of education, while the blueprint provides the strategic roadmap to realize that vision through curriculum, pedagogy, and system reforms. The blueprint itself states that all Ministry of Education policies will remain anchored to the national education philosophy, showing that the philosophy is the foundation of all education efforts in Malaysia.
Now that we understand the connection between philosophy and curriculum, let us explore how developmental theories support curriculum design across three key domains. In the cognitive domain, Piaget theory emphasizes that children learn through active exploration and construct knowledge through experience. The Malaysia Education Blueprint supports this idea by promoting student-centered learning that encourages inquiry and creativity. Inquiry-based tasks and problem-solving activities in subjects like science and English reflect Piaget's concept of concrete operational stage, where learners begin to think logically and classify information. In the social-emotional domain, Erickson's theory highlights the importance of identity formation and social interaction. The Malaysian curriculum supports this through group work, storytelling, and values education, helping learners to develop confidence, empathy, and resilience. These qualities that align with the FPK's goals, nurturing emotionally intelligent students. In the physical domain, Gisselle's theory states that development unfolds naturally according to biological stages. The Malaysian curriculum respects age-appropriate milestones by incorporating play-based learning, movement activities, and fine motor skills development in early education. This ensures that learners are not overloaded cognitively and can develop at a pace that matches their natural growth.
Thank you for that, Emily. It is truly enlightening to see how developmental theories are embedded in our curriculum.
Yes, it shows that our education system does not just focus on knowledge, but also on human growth and balance in all areas of development.
Philosophy and curriculum are the backbone of any education system. Philosophy defines the values and goals of education, while curriculum translates these values into actual learning experience and practices in the classroom. The FPK ensures that education in Malaysia remains values-driven, while continuous curriculum reforms ensure that it remains relevant and future-ready. As stated in the Malaysian Education Blueprint, education must prepare students not only for examination but also for life. This balance is especially crucial in the 21st century, where learners must be adaptable, ethical, and globally competent. The curriculum must continue to evolve to meet the demands of the digital economy, environmental changes, and social diversity. As future educators, we must embody the philosophy of teacher education, or FPG, which emphasizes professionalism, lifelong learning, and moral integrity. The COVID-19 pandemic showed us that teachers can adapt and innovate, but also revealed tensions between standardization and autonomy. Hamid and Nordin observed in 2023 that creative momentum among teachers was reduced when rigid systems returned after the pandemic. Moving forward, we must advocate for flexible and student-centered learning approaches that honor both curriculum goals and the individual needs of learners. Our roles as teachers is not only to deliver content, but to guide, nurture, and inspire students in line with the principles of FPG and the aspirations of FPK. Thank you for joining us in our discussion. We hope that this podcast has deepened your understanding of how philosophy, curriculum, and developmental theory shape Malaysian education. Let us continue to reflect, adapt, and grow as educators who uphold the values of FPK and the FPG. Until next time, stay curious and committed to lifelong learning. Goodbye!